We're back. We're back to working on a 1971 C10 Spanish Gold, take 2. We're gonna hop right to it today. But I did want to mention that I sometimes get into some work here and taking the box off the truck, which I think most people should do. But some of the stuff, just not everybody's gonna do. It might be fun to watch, but today we're gonna focus on some stuff that most everybody will encounter working on an old truck, even if they're not trying to do a lowering or any kind of fabrication stuff we do. Some brake lines, we're going to talk about some shock work today, how to bend some brake lines, that'll be kind of fun, show you how I do it, which is probably wrong. But let's get started. I want to show you the shocks first, and then we'll discuss being a mechanic, which I'm not a mechanic, but you probably figured that out by now. Let me walk around there and show you the mechanic. Some of you guys have figured that out. I know you have. But generally a parts changer, mechanic, whatever you want to call it. If you take something apart, just put it back the way you found it. And that's why I named this video, Put Things Back Where You Found Them. If you take the shock absorber off, and you're not sure how to do this because you're not a mechanic either, take a good look at it before you start. And when you take it off, you get your new one and you just put it back the way you found it. And that's probably 90% of being a mechanic. Although that didn't apply to this truck. These shocks here are upside down. Now, there's a sleeve, not on every shock, and I'll show you in a minute. There's a sleeve on these shocks. And whoever installed this shock here put it on, don't take a drink every time you hear the word shock. Put the shock on upside down, and this collar here will get water in it. Now, nobody wants water in their shock. And here in the north, it'll freeze and bust and it won't work. Well, they're brand new. Now they're a few years old, but the car hasn't been driven on them, and the shock is shot. When you take it off, I'll show you that. I never knew either that you couldn't put a shock upside down that would ruin it, but it does. It's run fluid out on my floor several times. Here, let me get this thing off real quick. The fluid that it's made with, I don't know, pneumatic, some garbage, oil filled, something or other. It drains out upside down. Who'd have thought? So, I'm gonna need a wrench. 3/4 inch wrench on these, by the way. I'm not sure they all are, but on these C10s, they're 3/4 inch. So, I wish somebody told me, I make 3 trips to the wrenches. Wow, I didn't know it was gonna be that loud, sorry. Alright, bang, bang, same thing. Yeah, why? It's supposed to just come right off of there. Not while you're watching me. So parts changers. Yeah, okay. Call me what you want to call me. I'm okay with it. 99% of the time, you just got to change part out. Your alternator goes bad, you take it out, put a new one on, just put it back the way you found it. Speaking of that, I preach put it back where you found it all the time to my friends. So a buddy of mine come over one day, and I thought, well, I'll make him a little something to eat. Of course, you know, I'm not the best cook, or maybe even, I thought this would come right off. But anyhow, I told him for years, just put it back where you found it. Even if it's in the wrong place, it's where I left it, and I'll remember, and we'll be good. Well, he got a bite to eat, and I got to clean it up. I said, hey, John, where's the fork you use? He says, well, I put it back where I found it. In the silverware drawer. Now, I couldn't be mad. It was kind of funny. All right. I was going to show you how this shock is bad. It's not. The other one was bad. Yeah, it still works. In any rate, he put it on this way. That's not the way. Goes on this way. That's the right way. The new shock, how many times I said shock? The shock is right here. And what'll shock you is, I know it's going to get tiring. It'll get funny again. On the new ones, it says up. This side up. Now this one doesn't have the sleeve on it. I still can't believe that one's good. I really can't. The other one was just, you could just move it like water. Now I wouldn't think to put it this way, although on this one it doesn't look that bad. But they got the sticker, so I know I won't do it wrong. This one, I don't know if I had a sticker. It doesn't appear to have a sticker. But, oh wait, right here. I don't have my glasses on, but there's an arrow. I think that says this end up. I gotta look real quick. Just take a second. I can't see what I'm doing anyway. So something as simple as shock, it does is top that way. So the guy didn't put it back the way he found it, nor did he read the directions on the new one. That's okay. That's a good shock I could save for later. I said shock and I said later. Gracious. And we're gonna put ours back on the right direction. And it doesn't. Oh, wrong bolt. No, it's the right bolt. Somebody had put in the wrong bolt. Go figure. Well, we got the top one anyway. We'll throw it on real quick. I want to discuss really fast about the pitch or angle of these shock absorbers. Now, I might mention this in a different video, so I won't carry on. But I didn't do a shock, I said it again, relocation kit on this. I'm going to get a different bolt. So there's the wrong one in there. But maybe he broke it. I'm not going to blame him for that. But I didn't do the shock relocation because if you leave this at the original location when you lower the truck, people will say, well, it's at the wrong angle. Well, here we are about right and wrong. It's your vehicle. You put it back the way you want to put it back. But with a reason. Yeah, none of this is going right. I'll do that. I'll do it later. It'll actually ride a little smoother. It's not easy to do. When you put them in, and it's at this pitch, I want this to be a daily driver type of truck. Not a four-wheeler. I'm not bouncing around with it in the mud. And by putting these shocks at the original angle, you'll have a smoother ride. They won't work as well, so to speak. Like if you load this and all that, that's not what the truck's for. You can, but this is going to give you a much smoother ride, not as firm. Which if you like a firm ride, do the shock relocation. I'm not saying shock again. We're going to move on. Let's move along to the next fun part. Now, why I got you down in this area, I'll have to adjust you a little bit. We're going to tie up this wiring. Now, speaking of wiring, this is the original wiring. Well, inside this harness. Nowadays, they put it inside a wire loom or they tape it up a lot. But back in the day, they just ran the 4 wires to the back. And it lasted quite some time. This one's still good and it's 52 years old, but I'm not going to leave it that way. You can pick up this wire loom. It's got a split in it. And you can just put the wire through the split and just keep feeding it on the wire and get it all coated with this stuff. It's not terribly expensive. And once you get it all covered, now you've got a better protection. This is getting old and crusty and I didn't notice any cracks, but that's what's going to happen. So what I use, and they're not terribly expensive, is these P clamps. They're rubber coated, not necessary, but if you're going to buy a clamp anyway, and a 1/4 bolt fits through these, which is my favorite bolt. We'll discuss that another time. And I use a regular washer, a regular 1/4 bolt. You just spread these apart. I can't see, I'm trying to make it where you can see. And you put them over the wire. You kind of pinch them together where the holes line up. Find a hole in the frame. I don't drill holes in the frame. If you have to, I guess you have to. I try not to. But when you put this bolt through, you gotta put a nut on the other side. You need to put a washer on there. Cousin, you don't, it'll spin the P-clamp on you. But a regular washer will bind up and not fit, so I buy these stainless steels. Believe it or not, in this particular application, the stainless steel is not important, but for some reason, they're a smaller outer diameter, and that will slip around the bolt and the P-clamp and slide right down tight without pinching the P-clamp. Just a trick I learned, all the stuff I do, and just thinking about next time how to make it fit better and not struggle with them and drilling them out, why the washers don't fit. So, and you get the benefit of a stainless steel washer. I did not use all stainless bolts. It's just holding this wire up. And as you see, I have plenty of wire clamps. Of course, my wrench fell off. A deep well on a mini ratchet, my favorite. Simply put it on there and tighten it on. It works really good. It just simplifies the job cleans things up nicely, holds the wire well. I'll take the rest of them down later. Now it's tight, but it isn't tight on the wire. You can actually move it a little if you had to and readjust. I'll have those all down the side, except in the back I got to put a zip tie on. So I'll take you back there, show you the one zip tie because I didn't have a place to put a nice P-clamp. It'll be fine. And then we're going to look at these brake lines real quick. Now replacing brake lines is not a big deal. But I want to show you a couple little of my, I'll call them tricks, but you can get the right tools. The problem with getting tools is you just keep spending money on tools, and eventually you spent more money on tools than you did on your vehicles, and you might as well just had somebody else do it. So I may not own every tool possible. Let's check that out real quick, and then I'll let you go for the day. All right, check it out. Original wiring harness. Comes back to a plug. It's got 4 spades on it, blades on it, what do you call them? Simply plugs in. They did things right back in the day. Now all the rest of that's got P-clamps, and back here I didn't want to drill any holes in the frame. It's already old enough and I don't want it any weaker. If you want to, that's fine. I don't think it's a problem, but we happen to already have a hole right here. This will be our last tie and I'll be all set. You could think about which side to put that on and spend all day like an old guy. Keep it away from people's hands because it will be sharp. Now I do have a set of close cut. Yeah, I don't have them with me. They're in my other garage. So today we'll just, and these don't need to be cinched down hard. It's just keeping the wire from flopping out, rubbing on something. I always rotate that away. Clean look. It's not going to scrub anybody's arm when they come through. All right, good enough. Enough said about that. Brake lines over here. I'll just kind of wiggle you around. I'm not sure if this is right, but we're not discussing right and wrong here. Now I'll just show you on this side. So these are pre-bent. We're not going to go there. We did that in the last video. Well, a while ago. And they're always pre-bent wrong. But nonetheless, you're going to, bear with me, we're going to run back and forth on a few things here. But this is good stuff. So you get you a piece of line. I don't have the fancy tools to make the ends. Just buy a couple lines, $6, $7, $8 a piece. I don't care if they're $12 a piece. You have to buy 10 of them, and you can return them to pay for the tool. If you build cars all the time, get the tool. I don't build enough, and I build them all the time. I don't have the tool. So this line, pre-bent wise, fits. I mean, it's in there. You can kind of make it fit. It don't look too bad. But this end, as you can see, I've had to manipulate around and get some pretty good corners on it. And I'll show you how I do that. Then we'll put that rubber hose in the hole, and that's just kind of neat is all, is what I want to show you. But let me take you to the vise. If you have a vise, this is my way. All right, jump cut number, I don't know. If you're counting, maybe 6 or 7. Okay, over here to the vise. I've got my ball peen hammer, and I got my line. I don't have a pipe bender. I've never bought one, never found a need for it. I know it's wrong. My pipe bender's right here. I got a flat-sided hammer. I don't know if they're all that way. I never looked. But this thing fits right in my vise perfectly. Just like that. And I just take my... I mean, come on. Put it on there, give it a bend. This is round. You can put your belly on there. You can put your arm on here to steady it. You can get right in there and you can give her a bend anywhere you need without kinking it. I love it. I love it. Now, if you got a tight bend on the end, there's no way your hand's going to hold it. So trick number 2. Yeah, this is going to, I know this is going to make people scream. Just get you a piece of metal, piece of flat steel. I'll switch the handle on this one. Put it in here, put your steel against the handle, and tighten this down again. You can adjust it any way you want. Now, you put your pipe in here. And you can grab a hold of it. I always make sure I don't bend too close to the end, but you can put that metal right on that nut, making sure the nut's to the far end so you don't get it locked out on you. But you can put that right against that piece of metal, someplace flat. You can round a piece of metal if you care to. I've never had a problem. Wrap right around there, and you can get some leverage on her now. Go sideways, and come in here at a different angle, and you bend it this way. See what I mean? You can really get some torque on that. I don't need no stinking pipe bender. All right, let's go fit this in, the last thing. And I'll show you what, we're talking about being a mechanic and I'm more of a parts replacer. Just put it back the way you found it. Well, in this particular case, I'll show you. Here we go. This is not going to be easy to see. It's not going to be easy to work on, but I really want to show you this. We can't put this back the way we found it because, well, one, I don't know who built this. For two, this line was designed for drum brakes. I don't know that they made one for disc conversion, but I did find a way to kind of get it in here. It fits in the clamps at the bottom. You probably can't see, but I got this line. What do I do with this? I don't know, it's got like the right end on it and no place to put it because it's not original. So if you can see, and I know it's very difficult, there's a hole down in there and this just goes inside that hole. If you can't see it, just imagine. We'll get that line out of the way. And you put that through that hole, fits perfectly. And you take these clips. It slides right on this right here. There's a little cutout for it. I don't know what you call it. A boss, and it just happens to fit perfectly right there. Get you a hammer, doesn't have to be a ball peen, and just I'm telling you, that's gonna hold. That's in there like tighter than Douglas. I don't know who Douglas is. That's what you want to do. That's what I want to do. I'm not sure if it's what you want to do. And then you fit that line in behind it. Now I tighten the line down. Sorry about that. I tighten the line down prior to fitment because it's hard to get, hard to get them threads started. I know you can't, it's not possible for you to see that. Hard to get them threads started when you got the line all fixed. If the line is loose, you can manipulate it better. Forward, aft, left, right. Get them threads started, make sure they're not cross-threaded. Then you can kind of manipulate your line around a little bit for the axle. All right, that's about enough for me today. It's pretty warm. I'm pretty tired. Been a busy week doing some farm stuff. You can check out my farm channel if you want to see that. Farm Loving Fool. Good luck. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you were able to see the little Loctite container. If not, go back and watch again. I'm sure it's in there. All right, thanks for watching. I'm going to pick up my tools, put them back where I found them. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. It's in there somewhere. It's in every video. I won't tell you every time, but there it is today. I'm going to put my tools back where I found them. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time. I did. We're going to see you again next week. Ooh, can I turn that off this time? See, last week I was right. I said 3 attempts. 3 attempts. This week I'm going to go with, I'm going to say the first time. The first try. I'm even going to take my glove off. My blue glove. Here we go. Ready, 1.